A Cambodian Survivor's Odyssey by Vannath. Chapter 5 Escape Route. Our journey and escape are fragmented as we are forced to wait until the ongoing sporadic fighting between the Vietnamese and the Khmer Rouge armies dies down. We travel day after day through forests and fields on trucks, bikes, motorcycles, and foot toward the Thai border. I am worried that if caught, the Vietnamese army will take us back to Phnom Penh and put us in jail, or that we might be robbed by thieves or get arrested by Khmer Rouge soldiers. Also, there are many stories of rapes. But, despite the concerns about safety and hardship, I am determined to take risk and move forward. At night, we rest in the forest under the rain. Khmer Rouge soldiers roam the forest with flashlights. Finding my family, they ask, "Are you Khmer or Yuan, Vietnamese?" They want to hear if we speak with the Vietnamese accent. The Khmer Rouge arrest and kill anyone that they suspect of being Vietnamese. We finally come to a giant pathway, the escape route where hundreds of thousands of refugees have walked out of the country in recent months. One well-traveled side of the path is slick with mud, so I walk on the other side where the footing is fairly good. One foot in front of the other, 5 years of trying to stay alive. My mind is numb, and then suddenly there is a smoke flash and the loud sound of explosion. Ahead, a shattered ox cart lay smoking in the dirt. "You had better walk on the other side," the guide advises me. "Your side of the road is mine." I switch sides and thank my parents and the woman of my dream for their continued protection. Who is the woman of my dream? Is it Mala? But Mala's life is in jeopardy because she has to run for her life too, and I feel that I am now out of her jurisdiction. And the purpose of my escape is to go abroad, crossing the ocean. Therefore, my dream of swimming across an ocean is not fulfilled yet. We arrive at one of the border camps in the northwest corner of Cambodia. It is called 07 Camp, set up by the non-communist freedom fighters. At the entrance, there is a checkpoint with armed people asking me to give gold to them. I say I do not have any gold. They are about to do a body search when someone on a bike stops and recognizes my husband. That person happens to be the head of the camp. He invites us to stay at his place and gives us hammocks, which is considered special treatment. The 07 Camp is within the turbulent war zone. We are surrounded by constant fighting and bombing by the Thai, Vietnamese, and Khmer Rouge militaries. Thousands of people are constantly running for their lives. The irony is that there is no place to run or hide, so we desperately run back and forth, like chickens in a cage, trying to escape capture. I tell my son and 2 nieces to hold hands and stay close to me at all times. I hear people say, "Don't go in that direction. The Thai soldiers will rob you. Don't go in this direction. The Khmer Rouge will catch you. Don't go too far. The Vietnamese soldiers will shoot you." At night, we still sleep in the forest in the rain, but our continuously wet clothes and mosquito bites seem trivial. We know we have to hang in there. The guide uses the periods of turmoil to plan our escape from 07 Camp to the US-sponsored refugee camp. Passing through the Thai border, hundreds of people are walking quietly, one after the other, during the late night. We cross a smelly stream in water up to our chest. It is so dark we cannot tell what kind of water it is. After slowly and carefully walking all night, about 4 a.m., we reach Khao Idang refugee camp in Thailand. approximately 500 kilometers from Phnom Penh. There, our two nieces, Srey Mok and Srey Po, are received by their aunts, who then become their guardians. Once in Khao I Dang camp, I feel so relieved. We are now in a safe haven. I give my husband the photos of himself in his military uniform. He is so shocked, but later very pleased to see that I carried his pictures all along. I had hidden them in a double-bottomed purse I had made myself from palm leaves. The photo turned out to serve as evidence of his military career as a major in the Khmer Republic Army, supported by the US from 1970 to 1975. Thanks to the photo, our application to go to the US gets priority processing. We moved from Khao I Dang camp to Chon Buri and Lumpini transit centers. We then fly from Bangkok, Thailand, to Manila, capital of the Philippines. From there, big buses take us directly to the UN Refugee Processing Center in Marong Bataan, on a mountainous plateau not far from the South China Sea. Duty to the people. My stay in the refugee camps is an eye-opener. Most of the survivors are old people, women and children, poor, uneducated, destitute, and vulnerable. They look at me as someone who will be able to help them and whom they can trust. I feel a strong compassion towards them, and I'm committed to help them in any way I can. Something has changed within me, and I feel a sense of duty to help others. Little by little, slowly, just like the butterfly that tries to get out of the cocoon, I force myself to wake up and take courage to overcome my personal shyness, attitudes, and behavior typical of a soft Khmer woman, and to become engaged in community activities. There are many Christian missionaries working in the refugee camps. Some Cambodian refugees convert to Christianity because they lost hope in Buddhism. They say that in Christianity, God helps whoever believes in Him, while in Buddhism, Buddha said, "You are your own salvation." With no judgment, I volunteer to interpret in their Bible classes. I am elected as a woman leader, the only woman in the group of 10 officials in our neighborhood. The Task Force on International Refugee Assistance and Administration, Philippine Refugee Processing Center, recognizes me as Woman Representative of Neighborhood 7. I find myself further changing from a typical and traditional docile Cambodian woman to a more active, assertive, and articulate woman who participates in different community activities within the camp. I begin to advocate on behalf of the voiceless and less fortunate of my fellow countrymen. With a few other women, we serve refugees, especially women and children, in all aspects of personal, social, and economic needs to the best of our abilities. In our neighborhood is a group of men who volunteer to take charge of different areas, such as education, sanitation, health, security, and food supply. Food supplies such as rice, cooking oil, vegetables, and meat are provided to all the refugee families. The person responsible for the food supply is on the spot at all times, living under suspicion and lack of trust as everyone scrutinizes him for any acts of corruption or nepotism. A rumor was started that food supplies were being unfairly distributed. In the absence of a food officer, other officials, including myself, gathered to hold the man responsible for the food accountable for his mismanagement. I listened to their discussion silently, without any reaction whatsoever. The group agrees to call a mass meeting. One evening, hundreds of men, women, and children come and sit on the floor of a big hall without walls and listen quietly to the head official say that charges of corruption are being brought against the food supply officer. As the head official is about to open the floor to allow participants to raise their concerns and to condemn the wrongdoer, I stand up and ask the crowd to reconsider, saying that we still have a long and difficult journey to freedom in front of us. We need to save our time and energy to help each other rather than bicker. If there were any inappropriate actions by the food supply officer, we should talk to him face to face, helping to work with him to set things straight, rather than blaming and punishing him. During my speech, the crowd becomes quite still, with even the officials being speechless. I had caught them by surprise, and I surprised even myself. I find it hard to believe that I am able to stand in front of such a big and intimidating crowd, and that they would listen to me. The perception and rumors of corruption by the food officer disappear, and life goes on. Aside from the above trivial yet interesting incident, the natural environment at the Marong Bataan camp is beautiful, with slopes and a stream where the refugees take a bath. The atmosphere is very friendly for the most part. The Filipino people welcome us warmly. Pope John Paul II, accompanied by Madame Imelda Marcos, the wife of the President of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos, visits the camp and gives his blessings to all the refugees from Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. In 1980, for our first ever Christmas celebration, organized by the Salvation Army missionaries, myself, my son, and other children and adults go to the stage and sing Christmas songs: Silent Night, Amazing Grace, and Jingle Bells. I also participate in the mobilization of refugees for the building of a Buddhist pagoda within the refugee camp. We celebrate the 1981 Khmer New Year by organizing a Khmer cultural show and entertainment with songs, folklore, and classical dance. I suggest to one Khmer woman that she sing a Filipino song called Dahil Sayo in Tagalog, which means because of you. It was composed by Madame Imelda Marcos. The reason I was aware of that song was that our prince, Norodom Sihanouk, commonly sang it in the 1960s. The Filipinos are jubilant hearing the song, and they begin to sing along. Weeks later, in the market, we can hear the Filipinos vendors singing Dahil Sayo. In Marong camp, my husband meets Sukham Sin, one of his friends from the US, who worked in the administration office of the camp. Sukham offers to sponsor our family in cooperation with the volunteer organization, the United States Catholic Charity. His wife, who is in the US, serves as our sponsor. Having a sponsor allows us to migrate to the US. In May 1981, after completing all immigration requirements, we are transported to Manila Airport for departure to the US. The plane flies across the Pacific Ocean from Manila to San Francisco. I feel very cold as I only have a light shirt on. We land in San Francisco, where they distribute a winter coat and food to all refugees. We are safe now. However, I am not happy or sad. I am how I always am. I feel like I have to hang on all the time. I cling to the neck of a woman who swims across a turbulent ocean. And now, reaching the other side, the woman of my dream is simply vanishing, leaving me alone, exhausted, and disoriented. The ordeal to fulfill my dream of swimming across an ocean takes more than 6 years to complete. But who is the woman in my dream?